Hello, my name is Stephanie Thornton, and I'm a residential service coordinator at a independent seniors community. As a residential service coordinator, I'm required to interact with seniors and to provide services to help empower, educate, and embrace them so they can continue to live independently. I provide resources for them. Um, I provide programming, informational programming for them so that they will be able to have a general understanding of what it is that they need because they are aging and they require a lot of resources and they may need a lot of services. The purpose for my presentation today is not only to talk about, but also to give some examples and shed some light on how my interpersonal communication has grown and how with the assignments and books that we have read throughout the class have helped me along the way to be more effective not only in my personal relationships but also in my professional relationships as well. Overarching goal. As a professional communicator, I felt it was something that it was I was doing effectively because I was hindering myself at the job. As I began to unfold the teachings that I've discovered that not only was I wrong, but I needed help to fix me. It worked, and I provided advice to seniors and as well as some of my colleagues on how to direct their lives and what they should do to take care of themselves because they are aging. And if they didn't listen to me, I didn't or shouldn't ask about the results. Then I would get really upset because I gave advice and I would want them to take the advice. While I was thinking, I was communicating at work and at my home. My communication skills were faint. I would barely express my feelings to my spouse when I made him upset while having to learn about effective communication. I felt that the best way for me to be successful in my personal career as well as my home is to be proactive with the skills that I read about. Behavior blend. My behavior blend and background. The behavior blend that was identified for me is that I have a predictable pattern, a behavior because of my personality. I am active, I am outgoing, but passive and resistant, according to Uniquely You. I am dominating, directing, demanding, and determined, decisive, and doing when I want to interact with people. I can be inspiring, influencing, in directing, impressing, interactive, interested in people. I have several communication barriers. My communication barriers that I found that I have while learning about interpersonal communication is that I am not an effective communicator when it comes to certain topics, certain subjects. For an example, when it came to my personal relationships and mending those old relationships. It took for me to having a chance to read Schultz and Bedinsky's book about the interpersonal communication and about those past relationships, and to help mend those relationships with people. I don't have to um, always direct those old feelings towards them, but I could definitely now I'm able to think about things and think about the relationship, but also just move forward and not let those past feelings hinder myself. When it came to my um, professional relationships with people, um, I was really standoffish when it came to me providing resources or me providing the advice to people. And if they don't take the right advice, or if they don't do what I want them to do, then I would be highly upset, because if you come to me for advice and you don't take it, and then you come back to me with the same thing that you left with, then I get upset and we go down and I go over and I start to say, didn't we already go through this? Didn't I tell you what to do and what was effective for you, and why didn't you listen? And I would want to know. And then as they begin to tell me why they didn't want to take the advice that I gave, I would get upset and I say, okay, well, you just came here for advice and you didn't take it, and that's not fair, because you're wasting my time as well as yours. So in my professional career, I definitely think I wasn't being um, an effective communicator. In fact, I feel like that I was actually being harsh to some people, because I was putting my personal feelings about certain topics and subjects in between what they were really feeling, or what they were really going through and needing. Um, And also, when it came to my communication barriers, I was able to distinguish what my communication barriers were, um, and how to effectively execute them. When it came to my communication barriers, when it I was reading Peterson, why do we listen? Why don't we listen better? There was a passage in there, and he talked about being an effective listener. Listen with a non-judgmental ear, and I had to take myself out of a lot of situations, because I felt as though when things were brought to me, I would judge. And even though I did have a rapport with a lot of people, um, it was a lot of personal issues that were going on within myself. And I was allowing me to, the conversation that we were supposed to have, it will affect my, um, my dealings with them, me giving them the proper advice, or me giving them the proper resource for the situation or for something that they were going through. Um, and I had to take a chapter out of his book and actually sit down and read myself, and, check myself and let myself know, hey, this is not right. I've hurt a lot of people's feelings. Um, I definitely have to ask for forgiveness, because um, I could have definitely lost a lot of friendships and mend some friendships, because I was judging with a judgmental ear and not a non-judgmental ear. Some of the identities that I have are most important with people, because they are collaboratively constructive with identities. The conversations are most influential communication. Like next thing, most important, single communication skills, um, and what I can do to help them. My resources and resources and strategies. We're having time to get to read, um, having the time to get to read, not burning bridges with people. Um, a lot of the resources that I did use and that I did take advice in or with was the books that were presented to me throughout this course. Um, the interpersonal communication books by Shorts and Budinsky, the Why Don't We Listen Better by Peterson, the the People Puzzle by Carbonell, and also human the book on human services, the human service worker by France and Wickel. I definitely took a lot of lessons from those books. And I want to say that I definitely apply those now to my personal life and in my professional life. I was definitely a wreck. I was not communicating effectively. But also, this was the kicker when it came to the the last assignment that we had to have, the talk listener assignment with the card. That one was really definitely a crowd pleaser for me because I was able to sit down, have a conversation with my spouse, and talk about something that generally would be one of those subjects that is like taboo at times. Um, but we had the conversation and it was fine. He was fine with it. I was okay with the results and the answers of things. I had time to talk and listen. He had time to talk and listen. So it was a very, very effective exercise to do. And I do plan on doing more of those with different subjects, topics, and people as well. Okay. Now, back to the resources and strategies. Um, I feel that one of the sources that is assisting with my effective communication um, was obviously the books that I just stated, and also reading the Bible more and incorporating God in all my daily conversations. I've had a few articles on interpersonal communication, an article by Georgina, issue 4, 2016. She states that the human communication is essence of interpersonal communication expressed by the ability or permanently decipher the meaning of the social contacts realized by means of social general symbols and meanings in order to establish some individual or group behavior changes. And I've also read on the article within by Jonah Barger, 2014 in the Journal of Consumer Psychology, titled Word of Mouth and Interpersonal Communication. That was definitely one of the ones that I was effective in my life as well, that made me have to do a double take on myself. My action plan that I plan on practicing daily is first to pray more. I definitely have to continue to make it a habit to get up and thank God and pray, just to for every day that He provides for me and my family, the health that He provides, the day-to-day struggles that I have to go through, or even if I don't have to, I'm definitely praying for those too. The safety, for me and my family that we have. But just to be able to incorporate a lot of communicating with God into my daily life as well. Just pray and ask God for the voice that I need in all conversations. None of me and all of Him. I don't want to go into another conversation not knowing that He's not using me to provide the advice or resources that I need to speak to others. I'm going to continue to study the books that were given to me. I definitely am going to do that. The communication with the communication books and implement them for myself, and not just for myself but for others as well. I feel with the faith that in God that I will be able to change, and I will continue to practice communication skills in my personal life as well. In conclusion, to be I have time to turn around because of my faith. God knows my heart and my intentions, and that all that I want to do help and need. Thank you.